The final illusion, the first awakening. When sex became the answer to a question, we forgot we were asking. Sex runs the ad campaigns, it sells soap and perfume, it writes hit songs, funds billion-dollar industries, ruins marriages, and fills prisons. Somewhere along the way, it stopped being a function of the body and became the center of identity. We assign it meaning, morality, status, and shame. And it does not let go easily. It is at once taboo and entertainment, sacred and silly, worshipped and weaponized. But the real question isn't what sex is. The real question is, why does it have so much power? Who gave it the keys to our longing, our worth, our anger, our hope? Was there a vote we missed? Maybe we didn't give it power. Maybe we handed over our truth, wrapped it in flesh, and called it desire. The power we projected. Let's get real. Nobody sat us down and declared that sex would be the ruling deity of our lives. It just happened. Like a river carving a canyon, it wore its way into our institutions, our choices, our fears. We tell ourselves it's about connection, but how can that be true when the body we're trying to touch isn't even them? It's just a stand-in for the real hunger, to feel whole. We gave sex the power of proof. Proof that we're lovable. Proof that we're wanted. Proof that we still matter. That's the real currency, not pleasure, validation. No wonder it runs the world. It isn't just about bodies, it's about identity. And we sold ours for attention and affection dressed up as ecstasy. The ritual or the rerun. Everyone wants it. Everyone's ashamed of it. Nobody knows what to do with it. That's the weird paradox, isn't it? It's like we've all joined some ancient ritual we don't remember signing up for, and it plays on a loop, a rerun. Like we're trying to solve the same puzzle with the same pieces, hoping one day it will unlock God. But it never quite gets there. So we try again. New partner, new pose, new porn, new story. All while carrying this quiet exhaustion. Because chasing wholeness through bodies is like trying to hug smoke. And we're tired. Tired of pretending the climax is communion. Tired of mistaking penetration for presence. Tired of calling it love when it's just loneliness in costume. The loudest distraction in the room. Is sex the most important thing in life? Or just the loudest? It interrupts your workday, hijacks your dreams, decides your wardrobe, shapes your religion, turns your past into secrets and your future into fantasies. And yet, for something that supposedly leads to enlightenment, why does it require safe words, non-disclosures, and a playlist? That's not transcendence. That's theater. The ego loves distraction, and nothing distracts better than lust dressed in longing. Because the real awakening, that doesn't moan, it dissolves. The temple and the incense. We built a temple around sex, and then the ego locked us inside it. We made it sacred, mysterious, forbidden. And then we started vibing to the incense, smelling the ritual without asking what it's for. Do we even like what we've built? Or are we just too scared to leave? Too scared to admit the temple is empty and the God we came to worship was never real? Maybe we stay in the temple because it's familiar, because it gives us something to do, because it lets us pretend we're in control. But liberation doesn't happen inside temples. It happens when you walk out of them. The touch that never lands. Sex starts wars. It ends friendships. It fuels economies. It drives both weddings and divorces. And yet, we're still not whole. We keep reaching, touching, grinding, thrusting, hoping that something will finally land. Something will finally say, yes, this is it. You are complete. But it never says that. Because we're not really trying to touch them. We're trying to touch what we lost when we forgot who we are. You can't grope your way back to God. You have to remember. And memory doesn't live between thighs. It lives beyond the body. In the still place the ego fears most. Now. The ego's Hail Mary. What if sex is the ego's last desperate move? It's Hail Mary pass into form, trying to avoid total surrender. Just one more connection. Just one more high. Just one more validation hit before we dissolve completely. But the truth is, we're not moaning. We're mourning. Mourning the loss of innocence. Mourning the dream of perfect love in form. Mourning the myth that this next touch will be the one. And maybe when we stop mourning, we start seeing that what we were looking for in the skin was always in the silence. Stories we tell in the dark. We say we're making love. But most of the time, we're making stories. Stories about who we are, how good we are, how much they want us, how powerful we've become, how unforgettable the moment was. And then we keep telling the story, replaying it, reliving it, rewriting it into our identity. But the truth doesn't live in stories. The truth lives in the moment we stop telling them. And underneath the story of seduction is the echo of a question. What am I trying to remember? And what am I trying to forget? We want to remember the true self and forget the false one, but the ego doesn't let go easy. So we keep making love with illusions, hoping they'll turn into light. Love was never the problem. Sex was never the enemy. The body was never the sin. Desire was never the curse. Forgetting was. We forgot that we are whole, forgot that we are love, forgot that we are not these names, these shapes, these stories, but we're starting to remember. And if sex brought you to the edge of the lie, then let it. Let it show you what you're not, so you can wake up to what you are. Not ashamed, not controlled, not possessed, but free. Let's go eat.